Hello, this is the 2021 annual members meeting of ICEAA. I want to thank all of you for joining. Today, I'll make a few introductory comments. Megan is going to handle the background information. Rick Collins is going to say a few words. Christina as the vice president, and Arlene and Jennifer and Madeline all are going to talk a little bit about their vision of ICEAA. I would ask you to put any questions you might have in the chat, and or we'll try, if there's time, we'll try to have a live chat at the beginning. So welcome to our meeting. So the purpose of this meeting is to describe where ICEAA is going and how we're getting there, to stimulate both your ideas and interest in helping. We are a volunteer organization. One of my primary goals this year is to try to make ICEAA very meaningful to the members and have involvement. And we will address your questions and comments as they come in. Certainly anything that's not asked today, you can send an email and I'll make sure it gets addressed. So this is not the official vision, but it is my vision to be a vital, respected, indispensable, and growing community of practice composed of ICEAA certified professionals, organized as a best of class. This profession is very important, and for us to see ICEAA as a professional profession is very important. The vision for the organization is to be universally recognized for developing, disseminating, and advocating best practices that maximize the value of the global cost estimating and analysis community to public and private sectors and decision makers. And I want to thank Rick Collins. He made a major effort last year to make the international ICEAA more practical and robust, and that is happening. ICEAA is an international nonprofit organization dedicated to advancing, encouraging, promoting, and enhancing the profession of cost estimating and analysis through the use of parametrics and other data-driven techniques. And as you can see, last year we talked about a machine learning section, and more data-driven is becoming a key metric in our business. We strive to facilitate the cost estimating and analysis community by practicing and providing members opportunities to teach, learn, collaborate, present, and network. Again, one of those opportunities we'll talk about is the upcoming workshop and the OEM, the manufacturer's COG, that we'll mention at the end. So, strategic goals: create a community of technical excellence, create a community of collaboration, and create a community of relevance. So Rick Collins had 5 key initiatives last year. We will continue those, but I want to give Rick an opportunity. Rick, would you like to say a few words about those initiatives and what you felt like we accomplished last year?
Sure, Bob. Thanks a lot. And good morning, good afternoon, and even good evening, depending on where you are. Yeah, so we had established 5 priorities that sort of fit into and contributed to achieving these strategic goals. A couple of the priorities related to, one was related to CBOC and getting that online and getting a certification online as well. And I don't want to steal the storm of our professional development and training VP. So I won't say much about those, but I'd say we made great progress on those. The other 3 strategic goals, well, actually, so yeah, CBOC online and certification exam online. And the second priority related to development of a software-specific CBOC. And I will say, because I had a pretty heavy hand in reviewing that work and that product, I'm I'm really excited about, what the potential is for the community as a result of that product. And then the other three priorities related to how do we increase engagement with different groups. Bob mentioned internationally, and Dale Sherman in the UK did some really great stuff in terms of the CBOC and adding sections that were country specific to CBOC to make it more relevant. And then the other two groups were OEMs and the government. And I think, there's Bob actually sort of was the leader of the OEM work. And I think we've got some good momentum there going. On the government side, I think we created some interest. We did some stuff at the workshop with a couple panels that were all government folks. There's more work to be done there, but so I'd say that Bob and audience in general, I think some good progress was made, and it was only as a result of people getting interested, being engaged, and willing to spend time. So I think that probably covers it, Bob, as me in my past president role on the board.
Rick, thank you. I hope to continue the excellent leadership you demonstrated. Megan, next slide, please. And I think I'm going to turn it over now to Christina Snyder as our Executive Vice President.
Well, hi, everybody. I hope you can hear me okay. I was told earlier that my mic is a little bit quiet, so if anyone's having a problem, let me know. But otherwise, these slides will be available for you to look at later. Before I hop right into them, I do want to make one note. Bob kind of alluded to this. As we want to engage more of our members, and I feel a little bit when I'm saying to you guys, I'm preaching to the choir. You're the ones taking an hour out of your day to hear us talk right now. So you are the ones, you're our first line that are giving us a life source for ICEAA. Your engagement is paramount to our success. So one of the initiatives that is really near and dear to my heart is STEM community engagement. Megan, can you go to the next slide? So here's our idea. What we would really like to do with ICEAA being a nonprofit organization is to use our space to help strengthen and empower the future STEM workforce. I love this idea because it's reaching beyond ourselves. It's not just thinking, what can we do just for cost estimating right now? It's really being ridiculously forward-looking and saying, what can we do to create better STEM thinkers in the future that would make great cost analysts 20, 30 years from now? We initially formed a STEM committee during the 2021 online workshop. That was one of my favorite things that came out of having a virtual workshop, is the opportunity to have those online discussions on the side since we couldn't meet in person. I would really like this to be something that at the future workshop, we'd be able to sit and talk about these ideas in person, and can't wait to do that with you guys in Pittsburgh. But for now, the main idea is we're going to be introducing cost estimating and some of our principles at the elementary, middle, high school, and even at collegiate level to get ICEAA and the profession of cost estimating more visibility. This fits right in with the strategic goals that Bob just talked about. Next slide. So one of the ideas, I'm going to talk about how I can foresee a really easy way to get us into this space and kind of let's kind of walk before we run. How can we do this easily? I know a lot of schools do local teach-ins. I know in Florida, it's a state-run program called the Great American Teach-In. It's the perfect opportunity for anyone who's involved in that school or just a community member to let them know we care about them and show the exciting careers that are available to them in the future. I know I'm one that I didn't know cost estimating was even a thing until I fell into it after college. I would love for people to know, especially as much attention is on data science and operations research now, we are in that space too. The Great American Teach-In itself, if it's something that you can look up and see if your school is participating, typically it does happen in November, but this can be done throughout the year in any classroom that you might have access to. So how much impact could we have? So obviously, if I hit my one little school in Florida, I've got a community, my kids class, one has 18 kids in his class, the other has 20 some kids. So total, I'm hitting about 40 kids that may or may not be excited about cost estimating when I walk out of that door. But if each one of us took that opportunity, I mapped where most of our members are. I took one of the membership lists and uploaded it. You can see how much impact we could have globally. I mean, like, looking at a map like this excites me to think every one of those dots represents children that we could be helping to groom into the future of this profession. I think it's just a really worthy cause and something that we haven't done before that would really get ICEAA out there. So my path forward, if you have any materials, if this is something that you've done in the past, I know Dr. Christian Smart has done things at the collegiate level. Our VP of Professional Development has done stuff at the high school level. I've done stuff at elementary level. We're putting together the materials of things we've already done. And those, the link to those materials will be posted on the ICEAA page towards the end of this month. I'll also be sure to share that link on LinkedIn if anybody is on that. And then in the meantime, talk with your friends that might be teachers, talk to your local schools and see if they'd like to have you volunteer and do one of these events. If you have any questions, my email is right there, and I'm really excited about this, and I really hope you guys are too. And I think that's it for me. Arlene?
Alrighty. Can you hear me?
We can.
Awesome. Okay, so next slide. I am Arlene Minkovich. I am the secretary, and I would just like to talk a little bit about why I want to be involved with this organization. I'd like to let you guys know why I chose to serve the ICEAA membership as a board member. A couple reasons. One, I think it's awesome to have the opportunity to serve the cost community and support them. I think it's awesome to be involved in training and certification. I think we offer benefits to our members. Sorry, my hair's a little messed up. I think we offer benefits to our members in training and certification. I work with awesome people, and I think ICEAA, it's an awesome organization. I have been a member for, I said 20 plus years, it's probably more than 30 years. And I think it's awesome to serve this organization, and I think it's awesome that you people preaching to the choir, as Christina said. I think it's awesome to be part of this organization. Next slide, please. So my goals. My goals for the 2021-2023, obviously I have secretary duties, so to facilitate accurate and timely recording and facilitate communication between the board and the membership, and act as corporate secretary and legal officer for ICEAA, but also my other, not secretary board duties, but as a member of the board, promote the president's agenda and his objectives. And I personally have been involved with the Software CBOC initiative, and I want to continue my work in that area and just promote the growth of ICEAA membership. I think we should spread the word throughout the cost community. And that's all I got.
Hi, this is Jennifer Kirchhoffer, and I'm going to talk about our professional development. Rick kind of introduced the topic when he talked about 3 of the initiatives that have kind of carried on. Online exams is what I'm going to focus on today for you guys, kind of to keep it short. But also they were successful at getting CBOC online. We've got CBOC version 2.0. The beta is up, and that's available for free. So that's a really good resource for you guys to be using, not just for certification, testing, preparation, but also for general knowledge for anybody that you have coming in, new estimators, people you want to train, and to learn the core skills associated with cost estimating. The other thing that several people have talked about is software CBOC. If you were able to attend the training summit, you saw that we have a track this year on software cost estimating, which was really exciting. That's kind of the alpha version of the software CBOC, and we're hoping to continue the development of that, get that finalized, and get that out as a product soon. So with that, I'm going to switch over to online exams and talk about kind of where we are with our certifications. So 2 primary certification types that we have, PCEA and CCEA. So the PCEA is for the apprentice level certification, and it requires only passing 1 exam and can be taken with no experience at all. It's valid for 3 years. Hold on, get back to the slide. Sorry, I'm talking to both, but give back 1 slide, Megan, if you don't mind. We have currently about 136 certified PCEA members. On the CCEA side, that is, you have to have 5 years of experience and pass the exam, but that is valid for 5 years, and we have 785 certified CCEAs right now. And you can see that as a percentage of our organization, as well as total numbers, we've been increasing through the years. The CCEA exam and its predecessor have been around for over 25 plus years and have really contributed to us as a society establishing that core skills and knowledge. Okay, next slide, please. As I mentioned, there are 2 parts of the exam, the PCEA and the CCEA. I wanted to share this with you guys because we had a lot of questions about it during the training summit. So the PCEA is that foundational knowledge and practical application of cost estimating skills. It is an exam with about 60 questions on it. You have 2 hours for that exam. You can take it with no minimum experience, and that's valid for 3 years. When you get to the CCEA, there's 2 parts. Part 1, which is the same part that is tested on the PCEA, and part 2, which focuses more on the application of those skills. And it's got about 50 questions on it. So you do need 5 or more years of experience, and you have to pass parts 1 and part 2 to become a CCEA. Okay, next slide. What we're really excited about is that we do have the online certification exams now. That's a big change in how we're kind of administering things. It is 100% multiple choice. If you took the exam before that, you'll know that there used to be a case study and multiple open-ended questions that you had to reply to. Each exam question has 4 or 5 options, and there's no penalty for guessing on that. So it makes it much easier for us to administer the exam and get it out to everybody. You don't have to wait for an instructor to be able to available to monitor the exam for you. You can just go online and do that when you're prepared. There are paper-based exams still available for those rare exceptions if somebody has issues, but there is an additional surcharge available with that. So we're really pushing everybody on the online exams. So the online exam provider is Metal, and they provide artificial intelligence proctoring. If you guys have done any other coursework online or testing, you're probably familiar with this new type of technology. It does use artificial intelligence to track you. So you need to have an active camera and microphone on your computer. You have to have the latest version of Google Chrome or Mozilla Firefox. And we'll send you links about 2 weeks prior to when you want to take the exam so that you can test to make sure that your computer works properly and everything will be good to go. Some of that for the AI proctoring, just to be aware of, once you start the exam, you can't stop it. The camera is going to track your movements in the room, and it's also going to track other applications that might be open in your computer. So if somebody in the middle of the exam launched another browser tab, that would actually stop the exam. So it's looking for key things that could be indication that somebody is using external resources. So it's pretty easy to use, and we make all of those conditions available to you so you know what you can and can't do and how the proctoring is going to work. My last bullet here talks about the exam will include an Excel scratch pad in the future. Right now, our exam provider is working on developing that. In the meantime, there is an online calculator As soon as you sign up for the exam and you have that 2-week pre-check, you have 2 weeks to kind of play with that calculator. It's more of a traditional type of calculator. So some people have struggled with it a little bit because it's not the more modern TI type of calculator. It's just simple entry. So you might want to spend a little bit more time on that. Within the next quarter, we do expect to see the Excel Scratchpad to be launched. So that should resolve a lot of issues associated with that. Next slide. Each part of the exam has a 2-hour time limit, and the passing score is 70%. This is a difficult test. I won't tell you that it's something you can walk in there unprepared and pass. We wanted to have a high standard for our organization and have it mean something when you actually attain your certification. You need to have at least 3 years of cost-related work experience to take the ICEAA exam. Actually, that's a factor correlated with exam success, is having 3 years of experience. Using the CBOC, the amount of time you put into studying the CBOC materials is associated with success. And another one, this one is really key. Preparation for the exam is part of an employer-sponsored study group. We see the most success of anyone taking the exam when the test takers have been part of an employer-sponsored study group. So if you guys can push that in your companies, it really helps with the preparation. One area that we do need more work is our question pool needs more questions. You can get recertification points by submitting questions. Right now, we have our test bank has 90 questions for the PCEA exam. And if you remember, I said there's 60 questions for each PCEA test. So we have 150% of what's needed. On the CCEA exam, we have 75 questions in our test bank, and each exam includes 50 questions. So we do a random draw right now to assign the questions to an exam. We're trying to go through and assess the success of each of those exam questions to figure out how to improve our test, trying to stratify if a question is easy, medium, or hard based on how it is performed over the last year. We're also looking at correlation for performance. So in other words, how well does how much correlation is there between getting a particular exam question correct and passing the exam? And that'll help us with tailoring which questions we use, how often, and what the best combination is to make sure our group is prepared. And then finally, we're looking at performance across different analyst groups to ensure that we're not leaving out certain people. Rick had talked a little bit about our international work and making sure that CBOC is not tilted too much towards US test takers. We want to make sure that it's an international test that can apply to everybody. And I think that's it. Next slide. Yep, so on to Maddie Teller. Thank you.
Thanks, Jennifer. Hi, everybody. I'm real happy to be here. I'm Madeline Teller, for those of y'all that don't know me. I was really excited to be able to move on to a board position. I've been promoting ICEAA a lot internally within my company for years, and now I'm really excited to hopefully make an impact within the organization. So go ahead and get started. All right, so our 2021 financial outlook, we've had a tough couple years, I'm not gonna lie. So overall, we are actually set to finish a lot stronger than we initially expected. So after we had to cancel the May 2020 conference, we really were looking at a lot of losses, both in 2020 and 2021. So at the beginning of 2021, things were looking a little bit bleak, but thanks so much to everyone for joining the online conference, registering and attending. That really helped us course correct and turn things around. So while we did still finish at a loss, there was actually a much better finish than expected. And much of that that net loss was actually due to the CBOC development. And that was a large outlay that we did have to put forth in order to make sure that we do have the more current software estimating knowledge out there. So that was something we were always expecting to have to absorb to an extent. And then, of course, we have operations costs that do continue normally, but we were able to secure some COVID grants, and that really helped preserve the liquidity in ICEAA. All right, so this is just a line chart of our revenue over time. It's grouped into some subcategories, but the main one, the green, that's our total. A lot of these costs are relatively stagnant, performing as expected. Like that orange one is the ski box. Membership and operations, there still was a good push towards membership and joining ICEAA, which was helpful. But the most interesting thing to me about this is the almost perfect correlation between that total line and that top line, which is the workshop. And you can see when we started getting more registrants and what a huge difference that made. So, thanks. And then this is just a bit of the actual details of the numbers now that we've seen overall performance. And you can see how much it has greatly improved over time. And our outlooks are much, much better than initially thought. And if you look at the EAC in March 2021 compared to September 2021, what a huge difference everything with the workshop has made. So things aren't as bad as they could have been. And then the last slide that I want to talk to, this is a balance sheet that we have over the past several years. And it shows our investments in blue versus our checking balance in orange to stack up to those total numbers at the top. And, while we're not in the highest financial position we've been, that pretty astoundingly goes to 2018, we are doing pretty well. And you can even see that recovery that we've made. So even though it's not as perfect as it could be, we have been in worse situations and persevered and done well. So this gives me and the organization a lot of confidence that even if things start to go south again, if we have to take another hit, that we will be able to recover. And hopefully that instills a sense of confidence in membership as well. That's it for me. So thank you for joining, and I will hand it over now to Megan.
Hi, everybody. It's Megan Jones, your Executive Director for ICEAA, adjusting some things on my screen that you can't see me doing. I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about yourselves and the organization that you belong to. So as of September 1st, there were 1,340 of you guys. And of that 1,300, about 1,100 are in the US and 200 in other than the US. Within the US, 931 are in the private sector working for somebody other than US government, and then 206 of you guys who work for the Fed. Uncle Sam signs your check. Within the government group, we've got 191 US DoD, so that's most of our government employees, and then a few others from some other civil agencies. Meanwhile, and then back in the private sector, we've got 828 of consulting firms and others such jazz, and then we've got the OEMs, which are representing about 8% of you guys. And overseas, international government is 130, and international non-government is 73. So here's a sort of a snapshot of how you guys fall within all your various categories. We also have quite a few chapters that have been enjoying some good success despite the really hard year it's been for anything. It's been impossible for anyone to do anything, and our chapters are still trying to do stuff, which is really fantastic. What's also fantastic is a lot of you guys didn't have a chapter that you assigned yourselves to, and quite a few of you since last year have logged on and linked yourself to one of our chapters, so you were considered a member of your local chapter. If you haven't done that, or you don't think you have a chapter, go onto your ICEAA profile and see if there's a chapter in your area, or reach out to us and we'll help you figure that one out. The big next thing is the call for papers for Pittsburgh. Those abstract summaries are due November 2nd. Your abstract summary is a summary of your abstract. It's only 75 words. You have a month to write 75 words, a little less than a month. I think you can pull that off. You need your 75-word summary and your 75-word bio. The rest of the stuff can wait until February, so you don't have to have everything perfect, but you got to know what you want to talk about We'll review those. We're going to pick the best ones, the most promising looking ones, and go through the whole process. If you've been involved before, you're probably familiar. And you'll be hearing loud and clear about all that stuff as we announce it. Until then, there was talk about the online workshop and the training summit, both by Madeline, Christina, and Jennifer and Arlene. All the gals have mentioned them. Just because the live show is over, that doesn't mean these are over. The online workshop, that's 48 hours of training that you can still get access to, and you can watch them until November 15th. So if you missed those and you need 40 hours of continuing education, you can get that for about $400 and have as much time, and you can watch them on Sunday morning if that's your thing. And the same goes for the training summit. If you're preparing for the exam, this is the thing you guys have been asking for years. Finally, there's some online training with instructors that are able to answer questions. And again, just because the live show isn't happening anymore, you can still take part in that, and you can still sign up and watch those videos. Our instructors have been incredibly flexible and incredibly approachable, and we'll still be able to answer your questions and happy to help you out in any way you can. So check out our 2 sites there. You can also get to them very easily from the front page of the ICEAA website, ICEAonline.com. And this is exciting. Some of you may recall that we used to have a Journal of Cost Analysis and Parametrics, and it sort of fell apart for various reasons, and we are in the process of getting it finalized for revival, and I expect to be able to send you guys the PDFs of those later this month. This first issue is going to show some winning papers from 2020 and 2021, as well as some articles that kind of got in the queue during our little hiatus. It's going to be online only this time, and until we decide it's not going to be. So it'll be available by PDF on the ICEAA website when that's ready later this month. Also later this time next week is the next episode of the OEM COG webinar series. This one is going to be about affordability benefits of digital engineering. The members of our COG team will tell you a bit about what those words mean at their companies and what they're doing with it. And then we're going to have a presentation from Brian Bayer from Boeing on that very same topic. And that's what's new and exciting here at ICEAA. We did get a few questions from the audience during the RSVPs that you sent in advance. Thank you for that, because we were able to make this lovely slide. One of you asked what the plans are for rolling out software CBOC. The content itself is complete. We're going to get ready to go through a thorough review, edit, and audit of it. The pilot program sessions that were presented at the training summit, which you can still see if you are interested and want to sign up for that training in the training summit. We are also collecting feedback from the audience that viewed those sessions and making sure that, you know, it is delivering what we think and promised it would. Then we have to figure out how we're going to get it out to everybody and how we're going to sell it. So we expect it to be released officially probably the middle of next year. Bob, we have plenty of time. We got a few questions. Do you want to say anything before we take any more?
No, thank you for all who participated, and glad to answer the questions. Go ahead. Yeah.
So
hey, Megan, Rick,
yes.
Rick here. While you got the ski box slide up, you know, we are still planning to develop a certification exam, right? That's accompanies ski box at some point in the not too distant future, right?
Correct, Rick, yes. We are planning to do that.
Okay, all right.
So the question is there a strategy, I'm gonna back this up so we don't get distracted by this. Is there a strategy to expand ICEAA to the US commercial sector?
I think we're doing that with the OEM initiative. I'm not sure the genesis of that question, but we have reached out to the broader OEM commercial sector And so the strategy is to continue to grow that OEM COG initiative and get more and more involvement.
I agree. I'd say we've always been trying to reach out to the commercial sector. So increasing that outreach is definitely one of our strategic goals for sure.
Hey, Megan, Bob, I'm wondering if the intent of the question, is more specifically, non-defense, be it, auto industry, be it IT industry, be it, you name it. And I guess if that in fact was the intent, which it may not be, I would say the members of the board are always interested in brainstorming on, topics such as that, right? If there are some good ideas out there as to where there might be a really good target and a really good point of contact, I'd say we're all ears.
Yes, Rick, agree completely. Yeah, if we missed that, that is exactly right. We all open to any ideas and any contacts that would help us expand into that community.
Then another question we got, which I can take this one. Are there plans to make ICEAA CBOC recorded online trays? Why, yes, indeed there are. And you can see those if you want to sign up for the ICEAA Trading Summit that happened live last week, but is still available to view on recording. If you go to ICEAonline.com/summit21, I believe, or summit 2021, you'll find it. We also, they are going to be available in the format that they're in now for a limited time, but we do intend to keep those going and make that an offering in the future, because it is really something, I don't know about the rest of you, I don't know how you guys ever study for a test by just reading a book. I need to learn from somebody, and I think this is that missing piece for the whole CCA puzzle that we haven't had. We got a question of where the 2023 workshop will be. So in 2022, we're going to be in Bridge City, Pittsburgh. 2023 is actually when we are going to be going to San Antonio. We had been scheduled to go to San Antonio in 2020, and then 2020 happened. And the hotel was very flexible with us, and we were able to sort of transfer our contract from 20 to 23. So we will get to the Riverwalk, and that hotel is still super awesome, and San Antonio is a great place to be. So that'll be a good time. And then another question was, are international conferences on hold for now?
So the short answer to that is no. We're trying to plan an international conference for 24. Traveling overseas right now is still a bit up in the air, so I don't think there'll be an international conference in 23, but we do have, as a board initiative, an opportunity to begin planning for an international conference in 24.
Yes, absolutely. I think it's hard to plan for just about anything at this point, but we're planning hopefully, and planning with hope, and hopefully we will be able to be international in 24. All right, let's see if I got any others. Folks in the audience, don't be shy. If you have questions, send them on. We've got plenty of time to answer them. While we wait for some questions to come in, do any of our panelists today want to say anything?
I would just go back as kind of closing remarks. We'd really like to move more into the international arena. Hopefully this pandemic will be over shortly. We'll be back to business as usual. It takes a bit more planning to do an international conference. So even if things clear up very quickly, hard to get one done in 23, although it's very, very likely that we could partner with SCAF for something they might have going on in 23 as part of an international conference.
Megan, Bob, I think I've got one other thing to add here, as maybe we wait on some other questions, and this goes back to my comments regarding the question about commercial what kind of strategy do we have relative to commercial sector? And my response that, look, if there are good ideas out there, please contact us. I want to emphasize that point of, the members of the board are all accessible, regardless of whether you know us or don't know us. You should not hesitate, and we certainly appreciate hearing from you, because in the end, the board and the association are not as successful as they could be if we're not delivering as much value as possible to the membership. So that's point A, and directly related to that is the following, which is there are, it's great to have ideas. It's even better to have an idea and help the board execute. So
an idea with volunteer, it's great.
Yeah. So whether you're well into your career or early in your career, trust me, there are ways to contribute to the association that I would venture to guess would be really enriching for you in various ways, whether it's networking, whether it's learning, whether it's really being able to have an impact. So I'll follow up on, I think, words that Christina said and others have said. We're a volunteer organization, and there's lots of opportunity here, and I think benefit for those who do in fact volunteer.
Yeah.
Over and out.
Yep. Any other questions come in, Megan?
We did get one more. Is there a strategic plan aimed at increasing international membership?
Yes, one of the initiatives is to do that. It was part of the board. And Christina, you want to take that?
You saw how quick I hopped off and got on my camera. Yeah, so whoever submitted that question, the same thing. If you have a question, if you want to get involved, come with a volunteer. So at the last board meeting, I was volunteered myself to take on the strategic plan for looking at ICEAA. I'm really excited about this. We're looking at how we can grow ICEAA, what else we can provide to our membership, but a big piece of that is the international engagement. And so especially if that came in from someone not in the US, I would love to have you reach out to me. My email's in the slides, and we can work on this together. Or if anyone else has any ideas, my email is always open.
Thank you. Agree completely. Yes. Anything else, Megan?
You guys are coming in, shaking off your stage fright. Did we get payroll protection plan money?
So we did get a payroll protection loan, and it is sitting in our account, $45,000, I believe. And what a timely question. Today, we got notice that we could start the loan forgiveness process. Hopefully, by the end of next week, we will have all the paperwork in. It should be a slam dunk, although having been through this with a couple of companies, there's always a hiccup or two. But hopefully, by the end of next week, I will be able to report not only did we get the loan, but the loan was forgiven. So thank you.
Okay. We also got asked what the process is for starting a chapter in your local area. I will say the first step is to talk to me. What you'll want to do is show interest from a certain number of people who are coming from a certain number of different organizations. A chapter is not just the cost group at a single company. It has to represent a variety of people in your area. We'll come up with a plan on how you can start drumming up that interest, and we'll move on from there. We haven't started a new chapter since I've been here, so it's been a long time since we started a brand new one, and we're happy to do it. All right. So, Bob, why don't you close us out, and then we can, because I think we I don't see any new ones coming in yet, and I believe if you guys haven't asked it, you're probably not gonna. So what do you
Right.
say?
Yeah, let me close with a couple of thoughts. Christina mentioned that email is always open. That is to Megan at the association or to any of the board members directly. We will not succeed without your involvement. We want to be meaningful to you, and sometimes it's easy to think that we sitting up here in the ivory tower have all the answers. We don't. We need your help. And even as today, I want to thank all the people in the panel that helped make this more of a cooperative event than usual. And thank you. I look forward to communicating with you all again shortly. Thanks.